This episode is sponsored by Isle of Man TT3 Ride on the Edge. The game is available on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch and Steam. Now you're never going to catch me riding the Isle of Man TT, although I cannot stop playing this game. If you would like to do the same, go check out the link in the description below. Now kick back, relax and enjoy this episode. Today's guest, Northwest winner, BSB winner, TT competitor. You're not won TT yet, I can't say you won that one. Glenn, welcome mate, thanks for coming on the podcast.
To go on to win, to continue that streak. Stuff of dreams really. Both my feet were off the pegs on a straight line, flat out. I remember saying during the week, I can't wait till I'm at Donington, and they said why, and I was like, because I'll still be here. Sitting back on the tank about 180 mile an hour, and my airbag completely exploded. I became like a parachute. It was like, whoa. My dad gave us all PW50s, I think, when we turned around 3 to 4. Oh, Kawasaki brought him in. They paid him for fucking to win the championship and all. If you were Taron McKenzie, stayed in British Superbike, probably any team would have took him or made the move that he's made.
Buchan's Bonanza. Yeah, Buchan's Bonanza.
If I had have studied any of my GCSEs like I studied Isle of Man TT, but that day is probably the first that I had a realisation, because I went, this is me.
Boom, boom, Danny Buchan, what a ride this is, and it is on!
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Pushing the Limit podcast with me, Danny Buchan. Today's guest, Northwest winner, BSB winner, TT competitor. You're not won TT yet, I can't say you won that one. Glenn, welcome mate, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Cheers mate, thanks for asking me. Looking forward to this. This could be
having
interesting. Looking forward to having a chat.
Trying to replicate, being chilled. But right, let's talk, mate. Straight away, we'll get into Northwest, because obviously coming off a successful Northwest in my books. Probably the same for you.
Yeah, it was great. You know, the Northwest is a funny one. It's obviously the only local event that I get to do in my calendar. So to go and to race at home and in front of, you know, they sort of earmark around 100,000 fans, there is no better feeling. But there's so many other factors to it. You know, I think people look and see Glenn, the motorbike rider there, that, you know, hopefully he goes and wins his races. But, you know, you're also a father, so the motorbiker's in you and he wants to win the races. The father bit is looking at your kids every day and being like, oh, I can't wait till... I remember saying during the week, I can't wait till I'm at Donington, and they said why, and I was like, because I'll still be here.
Yeah.
You know, do you know what I mean? So
it's
a huge roller coaster of emotions. That's why the passion and the celebrations there are absolutely, it dwarfs anything else I do, because there's so much love, passion, and the crowd is like charged as such. It's just incredible. But to go and to win, to continue that streak, stuff of dreams really.
Yeah, it's mad, because obviously you're local, and to have a local win, because obviously you're not fighting just like other locals, like obviously Alistair, you got obviously like Davey Todd, you've got all the other guys there. Like, it's a mental event, isn't it? And like you said, like, even though people say in our circle, don't they, oh yeah, it's the safest road race, mate, it's still a road race, and you can still hurt yourself, can't you? So like you said, you have that in you. It must be so difficult, like being a parent as well, and actually I find it quite hard coming to racing, knowing that, like, do you know, compared to like the man that does an office job, the risk we take with our life is so much more. That increases at Northwest, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then that increases again like tenfold, doesn't it, to the TT?
Absolutely. You know, that comment, like you say, so many people say, oh, Northwest, it's a big short circuit. I think it really derives from the fact that British Superbike competitors and in the past World Superbike and Grand Prix guys entered the Northwest, so it got like a circuit theme to it. But the last time I looked, turn one is I went out and watched fourth gear flat chat, and you open up turn 3 or turn 2 that has a terrible bump, go back to third gear. Your furniture is walls.
Furniture is what we need to explain to people. So the furniture is like the lamppost, the walls,
like the gravel trap. Yeah. So in the BSB, there is no furniture. You go to the gravel trap. In the road racing, the furniture is what you may hit. So you always have a curb, and a curb is essentially half a foot of a solid wall. So that's just how you want to put it. So hit that with any part of your body at any speed. That alone is enough to give you the worst outcome. Yeah. You have lampposts that I think health and safety is why there's bales around them, but I think hitting the bale at that speed, that's probably to tick off a safety sheet as such. There's so much. There's walls, there's railway bridges, there's railings. There is so much that like none of it is a short circuit. There is one or two chicanes that are man-made.
And the straight may be a visual circuit.
And maybe you can get away with crashing at Juniper chicane and that, but the two guys that did this year both had concussion, James Hilaire and Mike Brown. So no, it's absolutely a road race. I struggled a lot this year on Tuesday. The bike wouldn't go in a straight line.
That was one of my questions, actually.
Honestly, when I say that, like
crosswind,
crosswind, and probably a little bit. I think it turns out maybe our steering damper was literally too loose, but crosswind, bit of steering damper, bit too short of a bike. too agile.
And the Ducatis have that like notorious sort of weave anyway, don't they?
It weaves because even when it was good, it was when it felt good to me. I watched it back on TV, and for sure it was still weaving. But I cannot tell you how scary that is. Like I came in and I said, boys, if that's like this on Thursday, we are not racing Saturday. And that probably sounds like, oh, what an overreaction. He's had a bad day. He's 7th or 8th. Man, I couldn't go straight. I nearly went through the hedge on the first lap on Tuesday. Josh Brooks seen it. Both my feet were all. You'll never get this in BSB. Both my feet were off the pegs on a straight line, flat out, and it scared the
just because it kicked the side of the bike out.
It just completely went, and it swapped left and right. My hands were nearly off the bars. What else did I have? Another scary moment just while we were on that. So on Thursday, the stability was now improved. Engine character I was struggling, so I still didn't feel comfortable. We were now going okay. The pace was coming. I'm coming flat out back to Portrush. I'm wide open. I'm on my best qualifying lap. I've just met some traffic. You don't get frustrated because it is what it is. You can't barge your way back. So lose a bit of time. Sitting back on the tank about 180 mile an hour, and my airbag completely exploded. I felt like somebody had drove into the back of me because when they go off, obviously, and at that speed, so my hands just about held onto the bars because I became like a parachute. It was like, whoa.
And you're tucked in, obviously, and you've got your chest on the tank, and then that explodes. It was you up.
It was
wind
insane.
catches you.
So obviously, Alpine Stars, who we both use for airbags, are absolutely fantastic. And in one sense, it's very, very good. Their stuff is developed, mainly say around short circuit racing.
Not for the road.
I'm looking forward. They're going to download it, and they will improve the airbag for the future.
Maybe
obviously.
the sensitivity with a kick off a bump or something.
For road racing. So I can't wait. I'm actually looking forward to see what was the G-force, what was the speed.
It's maybe more than you think.
Maybe don't want to know.
Yeah, but does that when you're riding around, obviously, and you're struggling, you're trying hard, obviously, to go a bit faster, but you have to respect the fact it's a road race. Does that the whole family thing? Are you just like, mate, like you said, I'm not going to risk it on Saturday if it's not right because of that, because of the whole risk element.
It really comes into it then. So Tuesday, I couldn't even push around a corner because the bike was that unstable in the straight. Yeah. When I got the corner, it was like, oh, thank God, I'm at the next corner.
Yeah.
On Thursday, the bike was going straight, but it was very ill handling in general. I didn't want to. I rode hard. I didn't feel comfortable to ride harder without introducing too much risk. And by Friday, it's like, right, main race days the next day. I'm looking at my kids and I'm thinking I want to win, but I'm not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize them not having a father in their life.
It's madness.
It's crazy
it's
how you
mental,
think. It's like, what job? There is jobs like it. I'm sure when you go to war, what job do you go to? And you can't guarantee, I guess it's like that in short circuits, but you cannot guarantee you're going to sit down and eat dinner with your family.
No, there's none.
At that night. And it is so bloody hard. When we went out on Saturday and the bike was drastically improved, mainly due to engine character, I felt so comfortable. Without sounding arrogant, I knew we would win the races. You know when you're going to win a race. Yeah. And then you can really enjoy the Northwest for what it is, the fans. You can, when I kissed my kids before I went onto the grid on Saturday, it wasn't as emotional. When I kissed him before qualifying on Thursday, when Andrew shook my hand on Thursday morning or before the first session Saturday, before we had the improvement of handling, you get that silent handshake and hug. I had trembled. If he had spoke to me, I couldn't have spoke. And he actually doesn't know that. I could. Yeah. That's the power of what road racing does.
Yeah, it's mental. Insane. And how much different, in terms of setup, obviously for a short circuit, we try and make it the tyre last, we obviously try and get the engine characteristics and the engine braking, obviously for the circuit. How do you go about setting up for the bike? Because obviously they've got bikes moving around everywhere, it's bucking, it's weaving, it's trying to be late on the brakes, so you've got to have stability for brakes. The wheelbase is probably long, is it? Then you're changing direction,
It's weird. You can try to set it up like a boat, long, stable. But when we went, like I say, I think our first problem was we read a package slightly different to BSB. Now, by saying that, it was more the engine.
Because there's different rules.
Rules and stuff like that. And then the steering damper was our biggest problem. So I would say from a short circuit, go a bit on.
Yeah.
But the more on you go, then you come to a chicane at high speed and you nearly crash because you can't turn.
Can you imagine telling your mechanic, what's the problem, mate?
I had it on
bike
Saturday.
shit. Why is bike shit? Damper.
Honestly,
Definitely
I
steering
had it on
damper.
Saturday, and I'm sure you've never caught. Have you ever went out in BSB and came in and went, I think the steering damper's holding me back?
Mate, I've had my steering damper once so wound on, like there must have been a problem with it.
It's
like,
dreadful.
Like, mate, I couldn't turn. It was like this, and I was like, I just can't. Like, there's a big issue with the bike. This bike is like, there's a terminal issue, and it was. I can't remember what year it was, and I literally like went through the paddock, mate, and nearly crashed because I couldn't turn the bars to correct itself. So I was just turning one way, turning the other way, and I was like, nah, this is a, and that was a damper.
Yeah,
it's so
I was the same
simple.
on Saturday. We had an outlap, and I came back, and they're like, well, how is it? I was like,
Damper.
so much better, but I nearly crashed at Macroboy, and they're like, how? I was like, it was that tight when I went left to right, it got this big rigid like knot because it was so like horrendous. But in general, we ended up, I'm sure I could have rid my full BSB setting with a slightly stiffer damper, and we ended up like lowering the rear, pushing the front of the bike out. But we actually ran a short wheelbase in the end, so you don't need to go. You can go ridiculously stable, then you can't go around the corners. Yeah, because there's some high speed corners. There's a section where a lot of incidents have happened underneath the railway bridge, and you're hauling it left to right, and you go over the worst bump in the world. Yeah. And you're right out to the curb protectors, and yeah, it's a fine balance. If I was to restart the Northwest week, I would go with my bike as we left Alton Park. 2 clicks in the steering damper. And
what do you think about the limit, like of the North? Like, how much quicker can people go?
It's a good
if
question.
It's you or if it's somebody else, how much? Because obviously you boys, like you, Davey Todd, obviously Seeley, everyone's pushing the boundaries now, aren't they? Like everyone was getting closer. The Superbike race was good actually. Obviously, I wish it went the full distance. So I think it would have. I think all of you would have had a proper go because you seem to get a gap. And then it gets sucked back, and it goes. It's so hard to manage, isn't it? The gap, like it's not like
you
a
got
short
to break
circuit.
the slipstream, and I think in that last race we had probably just about done that. We were about to come the long straight.
0.8 or something. Did you
1.1 across the line.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe by the time we come to Mill Road, if you can get that to about 1.5,
yeah,
you should be gone.
Is that the plan? Was that you?
Yeah,
I need to push through there. Yeah.
Again, I don't mean it arrogantly. It felt really easy.
It always does. The best races do. I hate that.
It's so easy to win. It's so hard to finish second.
I know. And then to try and replicate that sometimes, you go, well, I've just got to not try, and you don't try. And
you ever
3
ride around in 12th and you're like trying everything, and then when you're winning, it's like I could
yeah, but then when you go right, I just need to relax for this round, and you go out and you're like, right, yeah, nice, relax, come in, right, boys, where am I? 15th. What? I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed, and then I don't. Yeah, it's such a hard thing, isn't it?
It's so strange, but yeah, slipstream is so effective there. It brings the guys back in line. But to answer your question about lap time, I actually went through the airport this morning. I said to somebody, basically what the question you've just asked, if you replace all the furniture, the lampposts, you put gravel traps everywhere, I think you would do that. We were doing 419s. I'm sure in the race we could have went 418, 17s with just, we were starting to get going. I think you'd be looking at 414s.
Nice.
Now, you cannot ride it any harder than how you're riding it, because how we ride it is really hard braking.
Yeah.
Not too much trail braking. And good adjustment there, Donnie.
Good adjustment there.
Yeah, bit of preload on the mic.
Yeah,
but you do all your braking up right.
Yeah.
For all the trail braking in the corner, you don't really do that. 1 or 2 areas it's really safe. And then you try to fire out of the corner hard.
Yeah.
So you're doing that style the best you can. You're trying 100% for that style. But if you brought that style to here, you'll be outside the top 20.
Wouldn't work.
Wouldn't work.
No.
If you want, I can try it this weekend. But
go on, do it in F1.
It'd be good for you guys, but it wouldn't be good for me. Yeah, like
let's see if it goes F1. Why is he riding like that, mate? He looks like a dickhead. It's like a club racer. Worse.
I look like a club racer. My style's horrendous, isn't it?
You've got a good road racing style, genuinely. Yeah. Like Hickman style. It's not hanging off. It's not like a short circuit, but it works. And it works well. You are the weirdest person to follow because when you brake, you like go to the front of the bike, then you let the brake off and push your weight back. I don't know how your data looks, mate. mate. Your data traces must just be because you literally like let the brake off, then you like push your ass back, then you get your knee off, then you throw your shoulder down. It's like I'm like behind you, like fucking hell, what's he doing? It actually urges me to get past. I'm like I need to get past quicker.
Like such a novice.
No, but it's weird. Andy's style as well. Andy's got a bit of a road race style.
And like I'm not saying I'm like him, because I don't do the elbow down, but he rides a bit. He does a bit of that weird stuff. I tell you who I think I'm most like, Keenan, because Keenan used to brake and then slide his bum back.
Yeah.
So I brake, obviously, like
forward,
you say, right forward, and then I end
with
up
your weird
sliding.
fingers.
Yeah, like
we've discovered that Glenn brakes with 3 fingers and he didn't know.
I brake with the outside 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the world brakes with the index finger.
Yeah, 1 or 2, yeah.
Or that.
Yeah.
I brake with that.
Yes, it works.
Mate, I wish I didn't know. I'm going to be thinking about
Do you pull much butt? Do you pull much
more
butt?
than anyone. Probably 19, 20.
Oh, shit.
Ridiculous, yeah.
That's mad.
I said to Andrew before we came here, if anyone passes me into the Melbourne loop this weekend, fair and square, if I technical problem, I'll give him 100 quid.
Oh, I'm glad we've got this noted down then. I'll be
know,
going for that one.
We're going to say BMW.
Yeah.
We're going to say Sonata
Big
BMW going straight to Aspen or whatever.
Big wings.
It's just always been my strength, breaking. I wish my style was like, say, like you, elbow down
but it's,
for a photo.
But
like, mate, I can't do it.
No, it's what it is, isn't it? Like my style, I've kind of just adapted. Yeah, like just always sort of some bikes maybe had to lean forward a little bit more in the apex to keep the front down, to keep it turning or whatever. I don't know, but I've ended up like that. Like obviously Marquez was doing
You're
it and
full
saving
modern,
it.
but then you look at Shaky, and he always said about keeping his bum centre on the bike. And if you look at Johnny Ray. Again, yes, he's hanging off more.
Not a lot.
But he's still quite his bum centered. And if someone said to me, how do you feel your motorbike? I feel it all completely through
Top
my
rack.
bum.
He
Yeah,
don't hang. He's
so
not elbow.
weird.
He's more like upright.
Yeah,
sort of.
it's strange, isn't
It's
it?
weird. And you watch the MotoGP boys, every single one of them on a corner exit, if you watch them, they lean forward so much on the corner exit.
But
that's funny
if
as
I'd
well.
done that here, I think the front would go like...
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's weird, isn't it, how different bikes work.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about. So obviously you've come from a racing family. Your dad was successful, weren't he? And we spoke about Andrew on the podcast about how he got into it. And was it a similar story for you? Like, did you just was you always going to be a motorbike racer, or was you going to be a tradesman? That's what I mean.
No, definitely. I'm not great at the trade.
You're not a grafter like that.
Nah, like I like I graft for this job.
Like training. Yeah.
Sponsors, people probably listen to podcasts. They don't see how much we do. Like my phone
It's a
yesterday,
full-time job.
Mate, I was not off my phone, and Laura said, "Can we just please eat dinner together?" And I was eating dinner, but you're still having to do. There might be a social media post you have to do for a new sponsor, and then you have to do this, and then there was a problem with my merchandise, and I had to do that and whatever else. But my dad gave us all PW50s, I think, when we turned around 3 to 4. Absolutely loved it. Rid motocross. The whole way through, that was the journey right up till I was 17. Probably like Andrew, Graham was, we were good, but Graham was exceptional. I knew I wouldn't make a career in it. Went to tech and done refrigeration and air conditioning. But at that stage, that was for like a backup to if I probably didn't know if what I've became in racing didn't work out. But at that stage, I hadn't even started short circuits, but I think in my head I knew I was going to be a motorbike rider.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go and do all this.
Did you always want to do like Northwest and TT? Was that always an aspiration as well?
Northwest always was.
Before,
TT, honestly, wasn't so much. But once I'd on a track day, I got my knee down on the outlap on turn 3 at Kirkstone.
I was going to say Kirkstone, yeah.
And I thought, oh my word.
Yeah.
You know when you get that, people talk about realizations. So I'm like really into, I know Andrew spoke about like my meditating and my self-awareness now. And I get realizations a lot now, and I feel it's just elevating me to like I feel like I'm a weirdo. I'm like vibrating at this really high frequency, and all this good stuff's happening. But that day is probably the first that I had a realization, because I went, "This is me. I can do it." It just felt like this is me.
I love it. Yeah,
It's just this is it, and it was from that moment. It was always going to be it. It wasn't easy.
Yeah,
and
then I just remember you with the white CBR. I can't remember why. I remember which of you the white CBR 600, and then obviously that next year you come over to BSB, the Superstock, when everyone was saying that you've been paid to help me win the championship. Do you remember?
I remember that, yeah.
And we just went along with it. It was like, yeah.
That was meant. That was at Alton Park at the end of 2009. It actually was. So I ended up racing at home again in 2010 because the ride didn't really materialise money wise. So it was the 09 bike was actually an old Gixxer. It was, and then the 010 was a CBR 600. So we came to Alton. I think I qualified
front row.
You were pole, I think, weren't you?
I think you were second or third.
I think I crashed at Knickerbrook. I'm sure it did, yeah. But yeah, I remember all that. Like, Kawasaki brought him in. They paid him for fucking to win the championship and all.
That's so funny.
We just played along with it, didn't we?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, definitely has, yeah.
I'm sure
I haven't even met him. I don't even know.
We all ended up pissed because it was end of season. At last BSB, my first ever round.
That was wild that
I'm
night.
sure there was a fight between like Dominic Usher or something like that.
Mate, there was so many fights.
Jess Trailer or something, and
mate,
it was crazy.
So many fights. It was literally one man poured a beer over my mate's head, so I like dragged him outside. And as I like dragged him outside, one guy was calming me down, Alex from Horny Jeans, and the guy he was calming me down.
Looked like Vin Diesel.
Yeah, he was facing me, and then he's facing me, and then all of a sudden this guy just throws a bottle and it hits the back of this guy's head, Alex's head. So Alex turns around and just goes boom and flops this guy, and then there was just carnage. Everywhere you look, there was like different fights.
I mean, it's
I was
so
like,
hard to believe. It's 14 years ago. Like,
it's mad,
nuts.
isn't it? I know, and it was just like, this is mad, man. There's fights everywhere. Like, what is going on?
That was my love of BSB. I was like, I love it. I want to come
I
back.
was like, this never happens at BSB, and it was a big fight. But obviously, it doesn't happen on a race weekend. Things like that don't happen. But I guess when you get a load of personalities, like we've experienced it before. When we all drink together, we all just get wild, don't we? And just get loose and do stupid things. And
there's no better night.
No.
Again, we flew over into Birmingham, and Andrew goes, what's the football ground now? And Andrew's Resort World. You know, like Andrew being Andrew, that's where we go at the NEC.
That's where we got thrown out of the casino.
Yeah, it got us talking about it. We're like, how much do you love drinking with the other riders?
It's just wild though, isn't it? Because I don't know if it's like a ego thing where we're like, he's done something funny, I need to do something funnier. I don't know, but it ends up bad, didn't it?
It's really like, because there's no like you say, it becomes probably more mad than bad. There's no badness in.
There's nothing mad or bad about it. Yeah,
we're all like the nicest of people, would help anyone. But when you put us together and you put a bar beside you,
it's just funny.
And then like throw the casino into it and whatever else, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's funny though, isn't it? It's like, it's funny. It's not like you said. It's not harmful. We're not being harmful to people. We're not beating people up. We're not like going out and causing trouble. It's just amongst us. It's trouble, isn't it? It's just
we're all like locked up 12-year-olds.
You just look around the casino and you see every different rider at different tables, and you just looking around like, it's funny. But that's just what it's about. That is like BSB though, the community. Like, we want to beat each other when we're on track, but we've got respect for each other away from the circuit. And I think that's such a good thing about BSB, is that we all want to kick each other's ass because it's our job to do so for the teams, for the sponsors, but we all respect each other, and you'll go back to the motorhome at night and bump into each other and chat. And I think that's such a like almost like a community feel, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it?
It's a good thing, because I think it's something that, you know, we're all different, as in some riders have felt, you know, over the years that, you know, I think Alistair's probably a good example. So Alexis Seeley, he likes maybe a rival where they make a feud as such.
Just get a bit of motivation for it,
and if that's what works for you, fair play. But, you know, for me, like, I've always felt I could eat breakfast with my biggest rivals and race them that day.
Don't bother
I could
me
go
either,
to the bar with them. You know, I don't need to hate you as a person to go out and to fight with you this weekend.
No.
Like, I really like you, but I'm looking forward to getting stuck in against you.
Yeah, but you're just racing each other, aren't you? That's how I see it. Yeah.
And like you say, BSB's meant. I think one thing that unfortunately happened that brought us all closer together was when Chrissy's accident happened. I think it's quite known now about the group chat. So we had a group chat with an idea of a tribute that we all bought into.
By you, really? You was kind of behind the t-shirts, weren't you?
Put a t-shirt thing in, but every rider within minutes had said yes, you know, which was really great to see. And I think it was Brooksy then followed the lead and said, look, guys, I think this is good. We can talk about problems. Yeah. There was also, Jason had a really tough weekend at Oulton Park, you know, with Tommy and Hickey and the collisions. He got a lot of, you know, very undeserved abuse, like, hate mail, death threats nearly on social media. And it was nice that we could all be together for each other. And now that turned into, as you know, a group where 5 of us speak to Stuart Higgs.
Yeah.
And we actually sort
4
things
now,
out.
Tommy got the sack.
Yeah, before Tommy got the sack. So we did. So Tommy was swearing too much. But Tommy got sacked, and we all put ideas in. And if there is an idea that there's a consensus that many of us agree with, we put that to Stuart. And the thing is, things are happening. It's brilliant.
I think the group's mega because it filters out people going to Stuart directly and going, so it stops Stuart getting nagged at, because riders do like a nag sometimes, and Stuart's not only got one rider to deal with, he's got the paddock to deal with. So I think it eliminates that. We all sort the problems out between ourselves, haven't got to go race direction, haven't got to deal with that crap, have we? You know, it's kind of like, mate, what a dickhead, or whatever. It's
like a good example,
isn't it?
Liam Delves at Silverstone. Very unfortunate. His bike locked up. Now, it's very easy for you and I to say, what are you doing sitting on the side of the track? No,
I looked up. No, I could have hit him genuinely. If I was
Yeah.
looking, I looked down at my lap time and I looked up and he was there and I went, "Whoa, over." He
It was
could have seriously hurt himself.
So dangerous. It could have been the worst for any of us. And I think, it probably looks strong, but I think I and Kyle and a few others were like, "Mate, what were you doing?"
Yeah, like
sitting
pull
there?"
over. Yeah,
And in the end, I apologized to him as if, Liam, I wasn't having a go
dig,
at you.
yeah.
But mate, that could have been so
your
bad for
safety,
you,
yeah.
mate. And do you know what? The group chat, it didn't go to Stuart
no.
or anything like that. Yes, he was aware of it, but we sorted it out amongst ourselves,
Yeah.
and it's so nice to be part of BSB, and
And even
to
talking
be
about
able to do
future
that.
ideas, things like that, it's good.
It will
I
help
think
each
it's
other.
important to
I think
have
it's
that.
good to be transparent. I know even with deals, some of us talk about helmet deals.
Some people
other
hadn't even
deals,
spoke
team
about
deals.
sponsors in it before.
You know,
Some of the riders were like, "What do you mean sponsors?"
I know.
I was like, "What?"
I think it's
Yeah.
good that we all have it worth,
And you're helping the
don't
younger
need to
generation.
tell everyone
Yeah.
what you need, what you get for X, Y, and Z. But
Yeah.
if we stick together,
Yeah.
we have a value amongst us all.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Definitely, and that's what something, and I think that's obviously BSB in itself has a value, but like you said, like some of the riders in there didn't even know about sponsors, did they? Or like they're like, what? Like there's a bonus or this bonus, and it's like, mate, yeah, like there is stuff you need to put into your contract
Yeah.
with your team,
If
but
you
that's
don't-
something
if you
for
ask,
you.
you'll get it. You need to know
but
it's there,
something
don't
you
you?
need to put in there. Like it's quite a. But I think, like that's something that we're going to do as like a collective, the older riders, because we're now the elders. Sounds really weird, but I think we're going to help guide the younger generation, like Max Cook, like the
Yeah.
younger people. I think that's something that we're going to bring in.
It's crazy. We're the old generation. I feel like I have another 15
Man, I don't
years
feel
left.
old.
in me.
I'm
It's
30
mad,
now.
isn't
I
it?
don't feel old. I don't feel like I've scratched the surface.
Like, mate, I'm 33 and I feel like I'm 16.
what are you doing? Yeah, and you're at like you've had a.
like you're getting better
Yeah.
and better. Like
Yeah.
if someone said, "Danny, when's your best years?" You're probably saying, "I'm riding better now than ever."
I know, yeah.
I know you've had a rough start to the year, but whilst we all work hard, we all train hard, and we're happy to learn off the young kids,
Yeah.
and we want to fight to stop the young kids getting our top seats.
yeah.
It's only going to make you better. And when does that stop? I don't know. I hope it's like 40s and not
Yeah.
like
Well, it is. Look at Haslam.
Yeah.
Haslam's 40. Josh is 40
Aiden,
soon.
Richard
Yeah,
Cooper,
yeah.
he's not in our class, but he's a top rider.
Yeah.
Brooksy, Shaky was still at the top of his game,
Who was
but when he
recent?
got injured.
Who was recent? Was it Wells? Oh, Bautista.
Bautista,
Like 40.
he's getting better. And
What's your hopes? Do you ever want to go Worlds? Like, you ever thought about Worlds, or what's your goals?
Really,
like, yeah.
really weird one, that, because I think every kid aspires to be like a world superbike
Yeah.
champion. I think it's also good, in life to be realistic, to set goals that you can achieve, because then when you achieve them along the way, you only build your confidence. I would love to say I've done a world superbike race. I would love to do the Donington Park wildcard on machinery that is
Factory Ducati.
to spec, to standard, that allows you. We're not going to win the race, but to be well in that top 10. But for me, if you said, Glenn, you can be world superbike champion, like I am an affable character, and people might think there's no way you'd really believe what you're saying, but world superbike champion or British Superbike champion in 2023, and add that to your 2 Northwest Superbike wins. That's something different.
Yeah.
And that's, that's what I want. I don't have to travel too far.
Go
Have a
home
young
to your bed,
family.
basically, yeah,
Sunday
yeah.
night I'm home. If we
Yeah.
have an early flight, sometimes I'm able to go to my local Indian.
Yeah.
So I could win a race or two and be sitting in my kitchen table at 10:15 with my missus, a couple of the people that work with me, with Andrew and Shan. We're all on
Yeah.
the same flight, and we're sitting eating an Indian.
That's
Like,
what
how
I say to you,
easy
yeah,
is
yeah,
that? It's perfect.
yeah.
It's perfect.
The goal's always there, and it's always like, I really want to have a good go at the World Superbike Championship and really try. But for me, I mean, like, we're so lucky that we get to go home. We've got a very competitive championship. Like, obviously, BSB is massively competitive, and then we get to go home.
Tell me
like,
this. So would you have done this just on this one? Because I know I gave Taryn advice under a lot of alcohol at the NEC.
Did he take it?
And well, I think he understood it, but I get his decision. But would you have made the move? Would you have, if you were Taryn McKenzie, stayed in British Superbike? Probably any team would have took him, or made the move that he's made to Morawaki.
I don't know, because so if
No,
I was
no,
Taryn, I had
tell
no
the
kids.
truth.
If I had no kids, it's a difficult one, because I see I see like with us bike races, I think we always see the good. We always see like we can get there. We know we can. I think that's like the arrogance thing we've all got in us. So if I had no kids, I was like Taryn. I've done very well for myself over a few years of riding in BSB. I don't know if it was in his position, I probably would have gone depends what he was told, I guess, about the engines and about what bike he was going to get, because obviously everyone knows that he's not got the competitive machinery, and everyone knows that if he was competitive on the machinery, he'd be at the front.
Yeah.
So, because you've got to look at Tom Boo Famous.
Yeah.
Like,
Taron
I'm not being
McKenzie's
funny,
on
but
Bootlegger's
yeah,
bike.
he's like,
Taron McKenzie to me wins a race.
Yeah, wins a race, exactly.
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to say, if it was me now, no, I'd stay in BSB for another 5 years for sure, because that's me, and obviously I'm older and got kids and
yes, you're thinking.
yeah.
Like,
So I think long term, stay
yeah.
here. But if I was in his shoes, would I have done it? I don't know. Like Bradley. Obviously, they're only doing part of the championship, but it's still that opportunity to show yourself. Will he get a better opportunity next year? Probably. I'd like to think he would. Yeah, I don't know, but I think we're different because we're a bit older. We've got family. We've got our sort of lives are set. Like the kids going to school. You know what I mean? I think we have such different, not values, but I think our priorities are so different because where we are at home.
Yeah, very
like,
different.
You walk the
outlook
kids to
on,
school,
say,
whatever you
cars,
do. Yeah, you know what I mean. Whereas he's like wakes up Monday. Right, I'm going to France next week to ride World Supersport. Wicked.
I'll go out a week early and bring my cycle
Yeah,
back.
and he
or
knows
something,
that once
yeah.
he gets that competitive machinery, I think he's going to be there. I mean, we're obviously huge
I hope
Taron
it works
fans
out
anyway.
for him,
yeah,
because he's one of the nicest guys in this grid. I think he deserved a better opportunity at the time, like
not
to
taking
go.
money.
You know, Morawaki have struggled so bad in World Superbike. Like they're one of them teams. So when you ask me the question, would you like to be a World Superbike rider? If you can give me a factory machinery where I can go and show what I can do, yes. But to be a grid fella, say like we've seen Ryan Vickers go and ride, was it the Pedercini bike in Czech Republic last year? No, if they rang me, not a chance for to go. So I just hope Taz gets. I hope he gets
the competitive package.
He's on a Super Stock 600 pretty much.
Mate, there's no way he's 4 seconds slower
the
than the
Padgett
top
Honda,
guys.
which is a top road racing team, have a better 600 than what he has in
There's
World
no
Championship.
way he's 4 seconds a lap slower than them. I'm sorry, but he's
no disrespect to Harry Truelove.
Yeah.
You know, he's made a great
Tom
step
Boo
in his
Famous. I'm
career.
not
Or
disrespecting
Tom,
them
they're
boys,
both
but-
talented lads, but like Taron McKenzie is the British Superbike champion.
You know,
he is top class.
And
And
you
you're
know-
looking, you see him behind him and you're going, hey, he
4
must
seconds
know.
a lap, but Aston, I'm sure it was. And I was like, mate, that is not Taron. Like, come on.
Yeah, but like 25 mile an hour down.
It's mental, isn't it? But that's the same for me. I think like having a top superbike, like a proper factory thing, and it'd be like, boom, have it. So, mate, let's get on TT. Dying to ask you TT questions. I've got one of my questions here is actually, when you sit, what can you explain the feeling of being sat at the top of obviously the start at the top of Bray Hill, whatever you'd call a start straight? Like, what's it feeling like when you're sat there? Like, is there a feeling, or are you numb? Like,
Well, like you've said that, and already the hairs in my arms have stood up and just got a massive chill
because it's
throughout my whole
quiet, mate.
body.
Like, you got your head, it's quiet, isn't it? Like when you sat on the grid before the race, there's that element of just quiet. Everything is just
Mate,
silent.
It's not, you know, my experience of it. You know, I can only tell you exactly what I experienced. You walk up onto the grid, your bike's pushed up. You know, like anyone, you like push it up quick and get the warmers on it. I was going off 22, some 22nd bike down the line, so you're a bit further back from where you get the tap on the shoulder. You get
the tap. Oh,
it's crazy. You get the usual chatting to your mechanics a bit, listen to your music. You know, we all have a wingman or an assistant. You know, you get your gels handed to you. You look at him and you get that nod. The nod's different. You then
you can tell their demeanour as well.
It's crazy. Like I sat down on the footpath, and Derek Shields must have been going off about 18 or 19, and he's a lad from Dublin that I got on very well with. I sat down beside Derek, and you sit and you chat to each other, and you know what he's thinking. He knows what you're thinking, and what every other rider in the grid, even John McGuinness, because I remember going into his motorhome in one of the race mornings and being like, oh, mate, I couldn't even look at my kids at breakfast. And he's like, mate, it's never going to go away. I've been like that every year of race here. But I remember sitting chatting to Derek and getting a photo taken, and it's crazy. People take photos and your brain is doing like, you know, the monkey in your brain that you want to put in the box is sitting going, I wonder if this is his last photo. You get like, I mean, it is powerful. They come and interview you. You feel like you're stuttering. You give your missus a kid, or you give your missus a kiss, which is very like the Northwest, to be fair. But stronger. It's more eerie. The graveyard is right beside you.
Yeah,
the
it's so
graveyard is
weird.
right beside you on the grid. So it's how would I describe it? It's very still. It's very vague. There's a lot of emotion wanting to come out of you. It's very difficult to talk.
Yeah.
But once the grid clears and you get on your bike and your man pushes you
To the line.
down to the line, it's all away.
That's what it means. It's quiet. Yeah. Just
Quiet,
silent.
and you feel amazing, and there is so much fun. First mile or two's tough. Tires have cooled down a bit because there is a bit of waiting, full tank of fuel. But after that, it's absolutely incredible, and there's a wee target in front of you because we go off in 10 seconds, and you just look at that target and hope it's coming to you, and away you go. But it's eerie. It's still. It's frightening.
Was you comfortable with yourself when you was in the race? Was you like, right, I know my markers, I've got my
100%.
references? Because I know you spent a lot of time, didn't you? Obviously looking at the circuit. You went there a lot of the time. How many corners is it actually? Like, is it? I know obviously it's
Honestly,
37.2.
it's 37.6 or 0.4 mile
I
or
actually
whatever.
don't know how many
yeah.
corners. That's what. I just wanted to know.
It's well into the couple of hundreds. But like, did I know where I was going exactly from my first lap? Because that's how, like, if there's two ways I went to the TT. Number one, you want to be fast. Number two, you want to be safe.
Yeah.
Put them whatever order you want. So how do you become fast and safe? Well, to be safe, you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
How do you become fast? Well, if it's a left-hander coming up, you got to know it's a left, so you're on the right side of the road and it all starts to flow. Man, I studied it religiously. If I had have studied any of my GCSEs like I studied Isle of Man TT,
You pissed it.
they would have give you some like award of distinction.
Yeah.
Like, it was so important. In terms of how I read the TT to how I studied it, that's where the separation is. So I studied it so hard. And I read it the complete opposite to how I studied it. You know, you look at photos, the bike's leaned over a bit, and I'm like, there's the Michael Rudder style that I joke I'm a bit like. I was like the old school Michael Rudder. You know, I was so upright. Never had no moments, never felt in danger of crashing. But that was all my plan. I didn't want to be like, you can't go there and go like, I'm gonna have a go, I might crash. Don't get me wrong. Some corners you ride bloody hard, but bloody hard in the road racing way, which is in hard enough, but out really hard. But you're never you're never going to risk the front. You know, that was my approach.
Yeah.
Some bits of track scared me. There's some bits like from Ginger Hall to Ramsey. It is so bumpy. Like, I cannot explain to you how
I think I've done that bit on a road bike.
How out of control.
And on the road bike, I think I was doing 35 mile an hour, and it was like, brrrr, and it was like, that was the noise. And I don't know.
Horrendous.
I said to Hickey, how do you go through there fast? He's like, mate, you just do, and it's just like you just
see
get
Sulby
kind of get
straight,
through it.
You can't see.
Because
Like,
it's just.
and by the end of the week, you can see because
And is
your
it the-
eyes start to adapt.
to the-
There's the strobe lighting. So if it's sunny, that's bad. And when I say Sulby is bumpy, it is like
200 mile an hour.
Imagine a motocross going through the whoops, like say in AMA, the top guys just skipping the whoops
Yeah,
perfect.
top,
They go,
top,
bah, 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 bah,
yeah.
bah. You're doing that for like a mile and a half. And then the trees disappear and the road goes smooth and you're like, oh, there's the houses. I better break next.
Yeah.
It,
It's weird.
Oh,
Because
it's
you've got like
amazing.
different. You've probably got so many different emotions and feelings, and like you said, like, oh, I feel like I'm pushing through it, but you're not. But
Nah.
and then you get to the bumps, and it's like, oh, I feel like I'm overcooking it, and then you're back on the smooth bit. And then you get to the mountain section,
the
and it's
mountain.
beautiful and
you
flowy.
would love the
Yeah.
mountain. Like, I honestly, there is no better bit of motorbike track I have ever ridden in my life.
Mate, they shut it, didn't they? The TT, and they just go one way only, and the amount of people that
a
crash.
So first day, so I was given a Lamborghini Aventador, and me and someone, brother or sponsor or whatever, say, "Oh, we'll do a lap of track." So I'm coming out of coming up to the gooseneck out of Ramsey, and all the cones are filtering you into one lane. So the oncoming lane is stopped, and I'm like, no, like I wasn't even aware. So you come into the gooseneck, and there's a 7.5 tonner in front of me, 2 cars, and a load of lads and bikes. And as soon as the cones split, like the cones are no more, the cars go up the inside of the 7.5 tonner into a blind right hander, which is the gooseneck. Like, what are they? Oh my god, this is one way. So long story short, past the 7.5 tonner, past the car, past all the bikes. Mate, we were flying. And it was one of them, you know, when you do something and you go, that was class, but at the same time, how are you allowed to do it?
How is
I
that
actually
legal?
don't agree with it because there's a lot of people get hurt.
A lot of people get hurt.
A lot of innocent lads out on a bit of a jolly to watch the TT. Like, they're not race experienced. Like, it's not like you're letting them loose at Donington Park.
No.
You're letting them loose wherever you crash or off the side of the mountain.
Mate, I saw a guy when I was there. I genuinely swear to God, we come to a section. Me, David Johnson, and I think Hickey might have been in the car. I can't remember. And we come up to this, and literally, you see a guy stood at the end over here, like just stood up, like looking around, and then you see the skid marks, like obviously the crash marks of his bike off the side. And just like, the bike's down there, mate. Like, it's gone. He's tucked the front going in, just lost his bike. And do you know, and you just like, and the amount of fatalities that happen on them roads, because people, I swear, see you guys go around and go, I can do that.
I'm going to copy it.
I can do that.
You want to be on the mountain in the wind.
Is this full flat? Oh,
Honestly, the bits of the mountain is so fast. And then you get like little kinks that if you're not on the right side of the road, you're going to run off the road. They don't even have names.
Simon did that, didn't he? Simon ran off the road at one of the points, didn't he?
You get a lot of top racers. Like, I think a young lad, Adam Lyon, used to race in this paddock. Where Adam's crash was, it's probably more of a corner than a kink. But when you're doing all your homework, it's not really talked about.
Yeah.
Flip me, if you did not allow for that, unfortunately the outcome can be what it was for Adam.
But that is the risk of a TT. Like,
it is.
Our risk of short circuit racing is like there. Then you have like the Northwest, don't you? And then you have that TT is just like, it's an eerie place, though, isn't it? Like, I remember being there and somebody was killed, and it was weird. It was a weird, like, I can't really explain it. It was just a weird feeling being there. It was just, and then people are lining up again, and it was like, because at BSB, if anything happens, it's a big event, obviously, as it should be, but like, it's just weird. It's just
funny,
weird. I can't explain
when you
it.
say about
strange.
Come to BSB and you like, it's not like you're doing an office job, so there's the nerves, and you see your family, whether they're here or they're not. Because I've road raced, like, I don't get that. Like, when I come here, like, say
chilled.
Coming to Northwest, all the thoughts are coming into your head. Might win. Honestly, it's a podcast. We're talking the truth. Might win, might die.
Yeah,
that's how it works. Because winning success, and that's the worst.
Yeah,
but see, coming to here, no thoughts like that. No worry whatsoever. Yeah. Like, I said to someone the other day, I was like, I feel like that's me. I'm safe till the Northwest next year.
Yeah,
it's how the brain thinks. But then when you go to the TT, you kind of have what you have at Northwest. But only it's a 2-week event. The course is even more unforgiving. There is less rest days, so practically every day you're on the bike. Yeah. So it's so intense. I loved it. I loved the first week. I loved practice week. No expectation. Newcomer getting quicker every night. It's like, oh my God, he's on 128. First race, he's broke the newcomer record. And then from then there was a lot of incidents. Unfortunately fatalities were happening like every other day, and people we knew, Davy Morgan, long term racer from home, and the Stocktons, the sidecar lads, just got to meet them in a kebab shop, and on my first night, and we bonded with each other through the whole thing. And whilst that was happening, I'm looking at Laura and I'm looking at my mum and my dad, and when you feel like thinking, like a bad dog, you feel guilty.
Like, why am I
I'm
doing
looking
this?
at my kids and I'm like, what am I doing? And then your brain's like, no, you want to be here.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, but what am I doing? I loved it, but for me, it was like the Paris Dakar, I think, for Petrucci. So I got to put a big, massive tick through a bucket list goal. And whilst doing it, I became the fastest ever newcomer, and that's how it will remain, and I'll never go back and race it again.
Yeah, so that's it. You're done. That's a good thing, though, because, like I said, you've scratched that itch. You've done it. You've probably gone there, and like you said, you couldn't look at your kids when you're eating breakfast. Like, how is that? Like, it's so not normal, is it? Like, no. It's so... Something in my throat. I'm not sure what that is. COVID. No, COVID. But yeah, like, that's so not normal for like a person. If you go and work in London, you kiss your kid goodbye in the morning, you say, right, I'll see you after school. Do you know what I mean? It's done. Like, it's so not normal, is it? And like, but in our circle of like, whether we're all in the paddock together at BSB, Northwest, TT, it's normal. Like, it's a really hard thing, isn't it? To like, for Laura, like, when, I don't know what it was like for Laura, but Steph, when she come racing, she was like, why are you telling people? Like, even now, you all right? People go, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm brand new. Steph's like, no, you're not. You're still injured. I'm like, I'm basically brand new. I can walk. I can run. I'm fine.
We're all very powerful in our
weird,
minds. It's crazy how
thing.
mentally strong you need to be a motorcycle racer.
But that sets you up for the afterlife, because when you go to business meetings and you talk to businessmen about things and they think this is crucial, this is critical, you're like, this ain't life or death, mate. Like,
We
you're
make things happen,
yeah.
I think. Do you believe that?
Yeah,
like,
your
absolutely.
furniture's going to get delivered, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or like I think it gives you such a base to set up your life. Like,
Yeah.
I always ask people on the podcast, "What do you plan on doing after life?" And they like a few of them, I don't know actually, but I think you just know what you're going to do. You know you're going to fall
It's
into
going to be
something.
successful.
You just know.
Like,
and
I
you
can't tell you what mine's going to be, but it'll be success because all we ever think of. Like my brother Graham is a great example. So Graham has dyslexia. You know,
Great example, actually,
many racers do. So like, you know, I would have wound him up when he was younger about getting a B and a D mixed up. You know, just a bit of a brotherly joke. And you know, school wasn't his strong point. He also missed a lot of school because he pursued motocross from quite a young age. Done absolutely phenomenal motocross, British champion, World Grand Prix level. Switched to this sport, done well. Don't think got shown his potential because he ran quite a clapped out bike against our bikes as such. You know, like
I saw you wheeling that fucking piece of shit around
like
the paddock, mate.
you can't
I think the
beat
wheels
me
and
or
ferns
you
are hanging
on a
off it.
6-year-old Kawasaki.
You were spanning it, I think. That's more worrying.
I think I bought Graham a bike.
Andy's on the tyre warmers.
It was so funny. 2019. It was 19. Yeah, bought Graham a Kawasaki.
Borrowing bits off FS3. You
I
was.
was ringing a run like, can you give me? They've got parts for 60% off. It was great, but no. He then came and done that. He had quite a bad wrist injury, and it was at the point where he made money from racing. It was to go into a proper superbike team. We all knew his talent. You would have knew it, but you need a team to take a chance. Nobody was really doing it. So he quit, and I remember feeling so sorry for him because it was like, what is he going to do? Like, you know, academically, it wasn't his strength. You know, and that's what it was. But it turns out the determination of a top-level racer, the drive and the understanding for general knowledge and common sense
And understanding what people want.
Yeah, what people want and what it takes to, like, I think when you have drive and you wake up with that drive every day, he's ended up in working for a company, MET Healthcare.
They sponsor you and Andrew,
yeah,
didn't
they
they?
sponsor me and Andrew, and he then basically decided, why don't we go to England, not just Ireland? So they made him a shareholder as such from the England side. And they are flying. The company turns over millions, and Graham is doing so well. So was it down to qualifications? No, because he doesn't have them. Was it down to what people might think, like the literacy and all that? Absolute nonsense. Doesn't have it. He is doing incredible, and I'm so proud of him. And it's awesome to see. That is a winning mentality, what it does for you.
Yeah, I was thinking that because the other day I was thought, imagine if I had to fill out a CV. Like, I've run a few businesses, I've raced motorbikes, but mate, what you can put on your CV is mega. Like, the fact that you're working in a team community like constantly, so you are worried about how he feels. You are worried. You've got him saying this about him, and you're trying to get these, and you're making everyone work together. And there's so much that you learn talking to sponsors, dealing with money with sponsors. Like paying the government, paying this, paying that,
taxes, everything
that you learn. Whether we learn it the hard way or not, we still learn how everything works fundamentally. And I think it's such a. I know if someone comes and sat in front of me wanted a job and they was like, "Look, I used to race bikes," I'd be like, "All right, like write down where you used to race, what you used to do, blah blah," and you would probably give them a job because you'd be like, "That is mega." Like you know what you need, you know what you want, you know it's not getting given to you unless you go out and get it. Because people do that as well, don't they? They go in their jobs and they go, right, get a promotion next year, but don't do nothing for it. And you think, we are not that way. Like, we're going out to get it. There probably are races that are that way, that are a bit lazy. I don't know. Maybe it's a British Championship
we just want
thing.
to be better and better and better and better, don't we?
And I think that's why racing's got so hard now, because I remember 5-6 years ago, 5 people would go around Alton Park quick. The rest of them would be like 37s, 30s. You know what I mean? Now everyone's doing like 35s.
Mate, the pace is crazy. You have, say, Dean Harrison, who was seen to be an out-and-out road racer, who used to come and get warmed up. And someone who I really admire, and again, his work ethic, he's kept his head down, he's grafted his absolute nuts off, and he comes away at Alton Park, I think, in the top 10.
I know, mega.
Like, so, do you know, like, was it natural talent with Dean, or was it hard work? I'm sure he would probably say hard work. Yeah. Because the natural talents are like your Kyle Rides, your Ryan Vickers, all these young kids. Yeah. But they're not always the ones that win. No. You know, hard work is such to me, it's the biggest quality that we have as a community. And like you say, in your pit garage, you are the centre of that garage. Yes, there's team managers, but you're like the nucleus, and you can control how the tyre man feels, how the engineer, the electronics, the mechanics, the hospitality staff. you can control and manage the emotions of that group of people, and that's something that is a trait that you can bring into any career outside of racing.
Because it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Although it's a team effort and you can't do your job without having a team around you, it's still, if you're not happy or if the bike's not performing, you're the one riding that, you're the one then giving that information back. You're the one that's emotional. You know, that's kind of how it is, isn't it? And it's like you can really piss everyone off in that garage, or you can really make everyone's day. It's mad, isn't it?
I've definitely done both before.
Definitely pissed a few people off.
I think I would water over laptops.
Didn't Birdie dock you some money once because you slagging people off on Twitter or something, weren't it? What was your comment on Twitter? It was years ago, weren't it?
2000, and he definitely docked me. Thruxton 2018. So me and Andrew were pole. Both in the front row.
I followed you around that qualifying, genuinely. He followed you, I followed him.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So we all, I think, mega lap, good lap time. But we really struggled to keep the tyre. The twin was so good round there, but not over a race distance. So all these changes came to race 3. Bike was turned inside out. Came in. You know, same old. I was trying to not even use my tyre. I came in, tyre fell apart. Came in, I was like probably effing Marquez couldn't even ride that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was in front of team sponsors, and it's not professional to do. And he was like, "That's you, fine." Like, you know, do you know what? Thinking back, it's a way of setting discipline. But yeah, you know, find me a couple of grand or whatever.
Yeah, mate, I'd do that. Imagine just because that's the only thing that'll shut you up. If you, not you personally, but I mean, shut you up as well. Because if they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fine you 200 quid, like. Right, that's what I mean. You probably would, wouldn't you? But if they like make it hefty and follow through with it. You're like,
because you come in, you're being ignorant, but then the team want to win too, so it's like you're having to go at the team, but they're trying every bit as hard as we're trying, so they're probably not the people to not give off to is the team. Yeah,
and if you don't beat up the bike after a bad race, then they think you're not passionate.
Yeah,
because the adrenaline's surging through us. Like you can't even explain to people that had the adrenaline.
If you could bottle it up and say to someone that's a non-motorcycle rider,
mate.
Let me just inject this.
Yeah.
This is the last lap of
Oulton
Park and crossing the line, feeling.
You just walk around punching screens off things, smashing headbutting things.
You couldn't do day-to-day life.
Enraged, aren't you? Yeah,
and
it's mental, isn't it? So people wonder, like the Seeley thing with Alex Olsen at Oulton Park. Mate, he's reacting. Alex was reacting. He was reacting. They're all reacting because there's
so
much.
Lads.
I know, and there's so
lads.
much adrenaline coursing through you that the only way you know how to react is just punching things. I guess I don't know, but it is a weird thing, isn't it? And it is like. I guess, yeah, like that's what we do. And we're used to channeling that, aren't we? I guess, like in normal life, with an office job, you ain't getting that.
No,
you ain't channeling it either.
I don't think again, but I couldn't do.
I have
that
both. It's all right. I get both of them. I don't mind it.
You are. You're a bit of a handyman, aren't you? Managing a company, racing a bit. Well, you don't really do a lot of racing.
I'm not handy.
You haven't turned up too much.
I know. I ain't been there really.
You're at Oulton Park watching. What was it like commentating? Was it
good fun?
Easy.
Yeah, easy because we're passionate. You know what you're looking for. You know. It's passion, so it's easy to do. You know, I know we use lads inside out. I know how you race. I know, so it was easy for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it'd be for like if I was commentating in 10 years' time on people I haven't raced. But for us, you'd do the same thing.
So easy to talk about something that you love so much, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Right, we're gonna move on to this part of the podcast. It's called the track review. I ain't got a name for this either, so. I need names, all right? I'm looking at you. But it doesn't have to be anything specific. Well, it has to be something specific, but it can be your favourite track for many reasons. What is your favourite track? I'll start with this question. What's your favourite track?
It's a good question.
Pick one.
Pick one. Donington Park GP.
Oh, easy then. And what is the most memorable moment there? I think I know what you're going to say.
Foot peg falling off and finished in third position.
Oh, I weren't going to say that. I was going to say, oh no, because actually Andy beat you when you smashed into each other. Yeah, so that ain't your favourite moment.
Memorable moment.
That was good though, racing your brother.
Passed me in the last lap. Yeah. Donington Park's a great
I do remember your foot rest being loose. It was
last year, it was just got into the lead. I'd lined Brad up for a bit, race 3 and came through the S's and the foot peg snapped off and it dropped. Like I tried so hard.
How many laps did you do with it?
Oh, about 6.
Oh, mate.
But it dropped back to 4th, a lap and a half to go. And it was the right foot peg. So obviously I don't get my body off the bike at the best of times. But when you're turning in and it's all in the front, you need to hang off to help it.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really do it. I had my foot on the exhaust and I was like, do you know what? I was going to win this. I really deserve a podium. Yeah. So I had so much determination and I turned into Coppice on the last lap, all on the front, mate. Just nailed it. Like, I think in the second fastest lap of the race, on the last lap of the race.
No foot peg.
No foot peg. And Tommy had a wee bit of a spin up coming out of Coppice and I got back by him into the S's. I knew I didn't need a foot peg for the Melbourne loop because I'd take my foot off and jam it in the ground anyway.
Yeah.
And in the last corner was a left. So Probably that was one of one of them races you do and you get loads of nice messages
How
on
did I even
Facebook
get that?
from World Superbike riders and stuff and all. Yeah, that's probably one of the most memorable moments.
And favourite part of the track?
Breaking into the Melbourne Loop.
Is it? Yeah,
I
yeah.
just love that old
Yeah.
stop go stuff.
Yeah, I do actually. That's quite, especially with your 3-finger braking. Any tips for any track day riders going there?
Use the curbs at the chicane. If it's a nice dry day, because we make the chicane
bang.
less of a chicane. So
We make it straight, don't we?
Yeah,
Pretty much.
don't be afraid to use the curbs. And watch Craner curves on a cold day on the left hand side.
Yeah. Please watch Craner Curves.
It's a club.
Please
We all
give
love
it a free
club growing
laps.
up, but it's the one club we're all in that we didn't want to be in.
Mate, honestly, I've smashed some bikes up down there. It's shitty, isn't it?
Oh.
It's nice. Have you
Think
been
it's
on the
gonna be
new track
better now?
surface?
Nah.
You ain't been on it?
Is it grippy?
Mate, it's
Andrew
so...
reckons it's going to qualify and could be
there's-
1.5 to 2 seconds a lap faster.
The lap times overall are going to be faster.
Tyre wear going to be an issue with more grip?
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where I'm at with everything anyway because I haven't ridden it.
this year.
No, so I don't. It's really funny because everyone says to me, "How are you feeling for the weekend?" And normally you go into the weekend, you've got full of confidence. I know the bike's doing this. I know I feel this. I know I'm doing that. But this weekend, I've got like so many question marks because I don't know how the bike's going to be. I don't know how I'm going to be on the bike. I don't know. I've got so many like I could win it by 10 seconds or be at
Honestly,
P30,
it
but I
wouldn't
don't know.
surprise me if you're right in FP1 and you're fast straight away. BM's
Yeah.
working well from what I see this year. You're a winner. You know that. Injuries, probably shouldn't be trying to give a rival confidence, but
No,
I
you just-
broke
yeah.
the vertebrae that you've broke and a few more. I
And you raced with him because you're a
a
tough
few
Northern
weeks-
Irishman.
tough
I'm a
Northern
pussy.
Irishman, you're a pussy, so I race. But no, what I'm saying is like I broke them and I've crashed and I've landed on my back and all, and there's been no issue. So
Yeah.
mate, you know what
I
you
should
can
be
do.
fine. The issue I've got at the minute is so they call it degloving. I've ripped the glute off the hip
someone
joint.
told me this,
That
yeah.
is sore. So when you run, your glute obviously does this. Mine is unattached, so it's free.
Can you run?
I can't run at the minute, no.
Oh.
But I don't
You're-
actually.
you're an unreal runner.
But I've been really enjoying cycling, so I'm not that bothered at the minute. I've been really enjoying cycling.
good. It might slow
Weather's
your running
good.
down.
Cycling.
I might be quicker
Yeah,
on
I
you again.
haven't done a run in a while.
Because I thought I was
My
a good runner.
fastest 5k was motivated by you because
So
I've
what-
said to
what
myself,
was yours?
16:26.
Oh, like what was I, 48 or something?
Yeah, it was
like,
funny because I thought to myself, I need to set a pace for the first 3k, and then I'll just
go
see how I feel. And if
Yeah.
I can manage, so I sort of managed a 3k at like 4:21 pace or something. No, 3:21 pace. Is it 3:21?
Yeah, it would
Is
be when you're on it.
Yeah, 3:21 pace. And then the last 2k, I just upped it to 3:08 the last k. I did the last k at 3:08. I don't know how I did it. I just felt good, and I literally was like, that. But the
do you
boys
not
I run
find
with,
like a 5k? It's not like, yes, it's fitness and it's
That's just balls-
stride and all
balls-
that,
yeah.
but it's mentality.
Yeah, it is, digging in.
If someone says, "Yeah, what's it like running the 5k in 16 minutes?" Honestly, it's like doing 100 meters
Yeah.
for 16 minutes.
Yeah.
It is just, I'm not quitting.
the
and
first
you go
K
and you
and
go and you
the
go.
last K are the same. They feel the same. You blow up at the first K, and it's how you can manage that
You
blow
stay
up.
blown up. You
But
just
I
keep
run
pushing.
with guys that do like 14-minute 5Ks, and like Scott's got the record. His 10K, no, sorry, his half marathon 62 minutes, hour and 2.
Yeah, I did a half in
That's sick.
an hour and 26, I think,
Yeah,
or an
that's
hour and
good,
24.
yeah.
Just went out one day on my own, had some
Yeah,
porridge,
mate.
thought I'm going to go for a run,
Yeah.
and it turned into a half.
But that's good. But I'll tell you now, this like,
That's crazy what they
if you
do.
stuck to it though, if you said right, that's the thing that is really different when you compare what we do and what, like, let's say a runner. I always say a runner and use them comparatively because it's like if you go right, I've got London Marathon in 16 weeks. I've got a 16-week training plan. If I hit every marker up until then, my target time is this, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It's not like that with this game. You can be the fittest, the mentally strongest. You could go out tomorrow and bloody break down at turn 1, miss the session, have the same problem in FP2, miss the session, and there's nothing you can do about it,
Yeah.
is there? And it's so frustrating that
Plus,
you can
we
do everything.
can't build up for one, like people talk about, like a boxer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's changing now because they might have more than one fight in a year, but they build up, they have this boom fight, and then they can go switch
3
off.
month,
so
4
they
month
can
training
peak.
camp, yeah.
Whereas we start in January, we need to be as fit in Easter weekend in April as what we need to be in the second weekend in
Yeah.
October.
Yeah.
And all the weekends in between. So how do you manage that? And I honestly experience, like I train hard, but I used to like slaughter myself in the gym, and I don't do that now.
Yeah.
And if I have niggles and old injuries, I nurse around them. I don't do what hurts them, because we can't just go boom
No.
We have to stay. It's
so hard.
It's so difficult.
And that's when you get an injury, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
right, now I've injured. Oh, I feel like I've lost loads of fitness when you
Can't
haven't
run, I've got
really.
sciatica now, and you're like,
but you just
oh.
have to go, right, I've got to be fit. And that's what I say to people. Like, it's like,
99% is
yeah.
what we need all year.
yeah. And people say, oh, how long are you going to race motorbikes for? And I'm like, well, as long as I can stay fit. Because if you stay fit every year, like, it's fine, isn't it? But it's
I'm
so...
never retiring. I always look at Jeremy
You've got
Williams.
Peter
Mate,
Pan.
he's 59. He just has
He's
second
going to be
position
fuming
in
now.
Northwest.
I
He's
know,
a legend,
yeah.
isn't he?
And you wouldn't think...
You
Like,
got to
when
get him on the podcast.
Yeah,
he has some
baggers.
good stories.
He was
King
in
of
the
the baggers.
King of the
yeah.
baggers. He was doing
King
well,
of the
wasn't he?
baggers. He is a legend.
It's mad, isn't it? Right, we're going to move on here because we've been doing some waffling now. And we're going to have to...
I'm just
I'm
getting
gonna have to have
overtime.
you,
The longer we talk,
I'm
the
going to
more
have
I
to
get
get
paid.
you on
Right?
for another session, mate. You and your brother. I've never heard your brother talk so much. Right, so this is my special quiz, yeah, before we tie things up. I've got a few other things I did want to talk to you about, but we'll have to do them another day. But this is my quiz, yeah? Buchan's Bonanza. Yeah, Buchan's Bonanza. Woo! That's the name of it now. I don't know what Bonanza means. Right, so I've got 5. I know obviously you're into tennis and that, so I've got a couple of other little questions. But 5 questions. And the first one, what was Joey Dunlop's fastest TT lap?
Oh my God. 120...
You're looking in the mirror, the window behind me. Can you
6
see?
mile an hour.
No, well, I've got 123.8.
Oh.
This is off Google. So, which male won the 2021 tennis US Open?
Oh, it would have been... It wasn't Djokovic because he wasn't allowed in.
Starts with an M.
Oh, it was Danny Medvedev.
Yeah,
that's what
Medvedev.
it was,
Yeah.
He took world number
I'll
1.
take a few points off of that, so I'll give you how many BSB titles does Paul Bird have?
He has 6 with Shaky Byrne.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who are the others with?
I think, does he have 8 in total?
8 in total, yeah. I think Hislop was one of them.
Hizzy was one,
then-
and
Brooksy.
oh, Brooksy, yes,
8.
and no Redden.
Oh, wow. Has he got more then?
No, it is 8, isn't it?
Yeah, but it says 8, but then that's not
8.
right, is it? Because
So hang
Shaky
on.
has got 6. Hislop is 1, 7.
Is Shaky 6 or 5?
I think he got 6. We need to look at this now. My phone says 8.
Did
I'll
Hislop
Google
win
8.
it?
Yeah. My phone says 8.
Brooksy won it.
Yeah.
Redden
Redden
won
won
it.
it. Shaky.
Shaky, so he's got 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
the
had 8.
Quizmaster, what's the answer?
I don't know. I need to find out. I googled it. It says 8, but
I think it's 8.
Yeah.
It's at 9 at the end of this year.
but Redding didn't come. Oh shit! Confidence. What lap time did Bradley Ray do in 2022 at Cadwell?
Cadwell.
Remember he went really fast.
I thought you were going to say Olton. I remember his Olton one.
Yeah,
was,
his Olton was
his
fast.
Cadwell one. Oh, it was on the last sector. He done a 1:25.4.
Pushed me off the front row. Yeah, banging. I was going to ask you for the next 2 digits, but I'm not going to do it. So I ain't got them written down either.
3-6.
And how many BSB wins did your brother have?
He won 2 here, and he won at Thruxton against Redden on the old Honda.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3.
4.
Bugger. Where
I don't
else
know
did
what
he
the other
win?
one is. I don't know.
Where else did
Has he
win?
won 2 at Thruxton? 2 at Thruxton, 2 at
I
here.
think he's won 1 at Thruxton.
4.
4.
Silverstone, did he win 1 there before? No. And we need you to confirm this.
I know,
But
I'm
it
gonna
says
have
4
to-
on Google again.
Yeah, no,
Goddamn
I think
Google.
yeah, he will have 4.
Yeah.
Where else did he win one? Like,
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
it then, mate. We've heard the Frogman story.
I think I know.
Go on.
Did he win the race here?
I literally Googled
that
it.
I crashed out of in 2020 at the end of the year when I folded at the front in the wet when I was fighting for a championship.
Don't know.
I think he won that.
Yeah,
so I
don't
think he's
know.
won 1 at Donington GP, 2 at Donington National, 1 at Thruxton.
Right, there's no extra bonuses for this or any money. Yeah. That's Buchan's Bonanza! Yeah, but mate, thanks for coming on. Obviously, we've got more to catch up on. We need more time. So I'm going to have to do a Glenn Irwin
Episode 2.
Episode 2. But yeah, version 1, episode 2. But mate, sweet for coming on.
Thank you very much, mate. Good luck
yeah.
with this as well, and I hope
Cheers.
the listeners continue to support you.
Yeah, and I hope to do some arse kicking this weekend.
Nice one, mate. Good luck.
Hopefully.
You'll be on it. Good luck.
Yeah,
Good
cheers,
luck.
guys. Make sure you're listening in for next week's episodes and stay tuned on all the socials. Peace. Fucking so hot, mate. I'm so hot. Get that fucking aircon.
Boom, boom. Danny, get that. What a ride.